Everybody, it's Beth with Sparks for 2120 Oils. We've got a special video today. I am doing an interview with my grandfather. This is J.B. Hammond Jr. He will be 90 years old on July the 3rd this year. And I wanted to do an interview with him and share it with everybody to kind of talk to you about what food systems was like whenever he was a young boy. He grew up on a small sustainable farm with his grandparents in a little community called Lewin, Mississippi. It's in Jasper County, Mississippi, near the Alabama line. And so we're going to just kind of talk a little bit about that. And we also are going to talk about exercise, even at later parts of your life. I did want to mention that he is a 2120 oiler. He has a premium starter kit that he got last year, and we wanted to share a little bit of some of the oils that he uses. The first one is the OrthoSport. He has got some arthritic knees, and so he puts this on if he's having any discomfort, and it takes it away. Also, most days you use peppermint oil. Mm-hmm. And peppermint oil he uses a lot to clear out the sinuses. Allergies are upon us right now, but he'll usually just take a drop, put it in your hand, and then smell it for respiratory support. And lately, too, he has used a time or two the Digize. Digize really helps with digestive support. So, Granddaddy, talk to us a little bit about your life. Here is a picture. I don't know if y'all can see it. This is his grandparents that he lived with, as well as his dad is the oldest one that's right here, and all of these are his aunts and uncles. Tell us a little bit about what life was like on your farm that you lived with your grandparents. Your mother had passed away when you were born here in Mobile, and so whenever you were very young, you went to live with them, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm. And see, the time area then was in the Depression years. Mm-hmm. Between, just say 1930 through the beginning of the war. And we were eating stuff that we didn't know what was good for you or not. But right. By today's standards, it's exactly what you should have been eating, but we were eating it by default. There wasn't anything else to eat, see?
Granddaddy and I talk about food often, and he has shared with me that he grew up on an organic farm before they even knew what that was.
Sure.
All the farms were organic at that time. So tell us a little bit about what was produced on y'all's farm. I know that y'all had lots of pork because y'all had pigs. Mm-hmm. You did have eggs from chickens.
Absolutely, and these were free-ranging chickens. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had to have a chicken house to put them in, or the coons and possums would eat them up. And you'd have 30 or 40 hens, and when you let them out of the hen house in the morning, you might fill them a little corn just to
or
get
sunflower seeds, whatever.
Sunflower mm-hmm. seed, and then man, they headed to the woods and they scratched all day. And they came back in the afternoon to go to roost. They had a craw full of bugs and everything else they could catch. See?
Yeah.
And on the vegetables, if you didn't grow it in that garden, you weren't gonna buy none. What you gonna buy?
That's true. Well, tell us the fruits and tell us the vegetables and fruits that y'all kind of grew.
What you had was, you say, butter beans and string beans, which are your snap beans, mm-hmm. and you had turnip greens, mustard greens. Later on in the winter, the collard greens, which I didn't like, but you had nothing else to eat, so you had to eat them or else. And then you had okra and tomatoes and sometimes a row of beets. People don't use beets much anymore, and my grandma used to chop them up and cook them. We ate them; they were good.
Oh, they're super high in antioxidants. They're very good for you.
Well, we mm-hmm. always had a row of beets, and
cabbages and cucumbers.
Not so much cabbages. They didn't grow. The cabbages are a northern plant. Mm-hmm. You could grow them, but they don't do good. Neither does lettuce do very well in this moderate zone. But we didn't buy any vegetables. What you gonna buy? I mean, you ain't got no money to start with, so.
Right.
But anyway, we ate what we had.
And so y'all lived off of a diet with Grandpa Hammond, and with y'all had pork usually every day and eggs. Mm-hmm. So that was your protein, and then you also had lots of vegetables, and then seasonal fruits, and y'all would have what? Plums, pears, peaches.
Yeah,
watermelons.
Sure, and from the woods you got your blackberries and your huckleberries, which are a wild blueberry.
So lots of antioxidant fruits.
And let me add something in
Mm-hmm.
here. Everybody had a smokehouse. Now, a smokehouse is just a wooden building with a probably just a board roof, and you had to have it where the coons and the possums and the rats could get in there. See, when the cats kept guard, you had dogs and cats for a particular reason. The cats caught the rats, and the dogs they kept the stuff run away, possums and stuff. But anyway, you kept a little fire in that smokehouse all the time.
So y'all had ham and things like that, but it was just salt cured.
Well, to a degree, you salt it down like you take a ham, you hang it up over that smoke. It's smoked there for weeks and weeks.
But there wasn't any chemicals or anything put on the meat at all for preserving. It was just strictly just salt cured and then naturally smoked.
Yeah.
So that was meats. You said y'all didn't eat a lot of red meat. No, y'all didn't have those. But tell us a little bit about dairy, because y'all had some dairy cows.
All right. Now we had 4 cows. And those cows, you didn't have to feed them much. They foraged in the pastures nowhere all day long, see. And so you milked those cows, and you didn't do anything to that milk except strain it through a cheesecloth. You strained it, and then you set it aside, and it would turn into clabber or something where you poured it in the churn, churned it, and you got the butter.
So y'all were eating fermented dairy because you were drinking buttermilk, which is a fermented dairy product.
You didn't drink the sweet milk. You could, but you used that sweet milk to churn and get butter from. And
so y'all were eating lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of good proteins and fermented foods, all year round. All right, so that is a little bit about what the food system was like. There was no processed foods. None of that was eaten at your house. Very little grains. The grains that were eaten was ground corn for cornbread.
Right.
And then y'all tell the group a little bit about your journey with exercising, because you told me one time that you had, after the war, Granddaddy was in World War II as well as the Korean War, and after he had kind of settled down and had gotten married and had his 3 daughters, you had put on some weight, right?
Right. This was in about 1971 or thereabouts, and I one night I looked and Lord, I said, man, you got to do something. You're gonna be pushing up daisies. I weighed 217 pounds, and I had read this book about this doctor out there in Texas, Houston, I believe it was, Dr. Kenneth Cooper. He founded what's called the Aerobics Institute. See, and I read that, and it was.
But nobody knew what aerobics was before.
Didn't know that. I didn't know anything about it, and so I said, well, shoot, maybe I ought to do that. So I bought me an exercise bicycle and started riding that thing in the afternoon, see. And I ride about 30 minutes on it pretty hard, and that helped a lot. But then I joined the spa, and
that's what they used to call gyms.
Yeah, it's still a spa. It's a kind of a gym, but they had a track in there that ran about the size or outside of a basketball court. And I joined that thing and just started running. I said, well, I can't do much weightlifting. So I just started running that track, and it took 26 laps for a mile. And when I first started, man, I was ready to pass out just going around there jogging slow at 5 laps. Well, I kept on. I only had a lap once in a while, so I finally kept running up there. I got up to a mile. And then I had some friends working in a paper company that was in these races and all, see. So they said, man, Joe, he said, you need, I was what I would be then, about 51 or 52. And he said, you ought to get in some of these races. At your age, you can do pretty good. So I started running on the road, and then started one of those little 3K races, which is
Okay, keep going. What you were saying, we got back in.
Yeah, and
so after running your little 5Ks, then you worked up to
worked on up, and I wound up running. I believe it was 63 certified races with the 2 marathons. See.
Wow.
And a 10K race was rather difficult. I don't know why, but that's what the Azalea Trail is a 10 kilometers.
They have nowadays. I think they have 5K and the 10K.
They have
a couple different divisions.
But the old 10K race, that was a hard one, but I run a lot of those.
That was your favorite one?
Well, not my favorite. It was one of the hardest. I don't know why. I could run a distance, like a 20 kilometer, which was twice that, but of course you set a pace when you run the long ones. But anyway, I did run 13 consecutive trails. And I'm not bragging. I'm just stating the fact that I just run them.
Well, we're really proud to have you as part of our group, Granddaddy. You might be one of the oldest ones in our 2120 Oils page, but it's nice for you to kind of share with us a little bit about what agriculture was like in our area many, many years ago, because you can give that reference all the way back through because you lived with your grandparents who were born during or before the war between the states. And agriculture had not really changed.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, they were. And so that agriculture had not really changed from many, many hundreds of years ago all the way until later on after, kind of Industrial Revolution. And then we've got going into World War II. Things kind of changed at that point with processing foods. But everything was organic. Everything was local. And it was fresh. And then things changed for you where you didn't always eat that way and you put weight on, but you made a conscious decision to do something about it. And that is really inspiring that even later on in life you can pick up. You can teach an old dog new tricks, I guess.
It's never too late to start.
That's right. That's right. So, well, thanks so much for sharing with us today. And we will get back to our videos on the slow cooker next week, but I wanted to do this quick interview with Granddaddy and let him kind of share, because we have been talking a lot at our home about food and realizing that the old ways a lot of times are the better ways to do things. So thanks, Granddaddy.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all have a good day.